Why has Haiti collapsed? Again. And why are the two most common reasons given for the country's failure, let's just say, problematic? After years of simmering tensions, there is no debate that Haiti has become a failed state. The nation's prime minister has been forced into exile, armed gangs have seized control of the country's capital, Port-au-Prince, and they have proceeded to shut down airports, close the country's main port, and release thousands of hardened criminals from prison. In fact, the most powerful man in Haiti is now a gang lord known as Barbecue. And with the country facing a massive humanitarian crisis, a huge debate has now erupted over what exactly led to the anarchy. There's two dominant theories over why Haiti has collapsed, but here's the thing. They're both wrong. At the very least, they're very incomplete. Let's start with the usual suspect. This is the idea that Haiti's failure can be attributed to colonialism. This narrative simply will not die, in large part because it seemingly explains why any former colony has struggled. Case in point, Haiti isn't the only example of colonialism being blamed for a country's collapse. The exact same argument has been used for the Congo, Zimbabwe, Somalia, and many others. But here's the thing. If colonialism itself were the reason Haiti collapsed, then why hasn't the Dominican Republic collapsed? After all, the Dominican Republic is a former colony. It also shares a direct border with Haiti. What's more, the DR wasn't just colonized by Spain, it was also conquered by Haiti. So if colonialism alone can't explain it, what is the second most popular reason offered? And that one is foreign debt. And I mean lots of it, because Haiti had a massive amount of debt to repay after gaining independence. This argument that Haiti's collapse is a consequence of the infamous French debt imposed on the country is far more popular among academics, activists, and even the Haitians themselves. So here's what happened. In 1791, Haitian slaves staged the world's first successful slave revolt against the French colonial rule. They won their freedom and Haiti's independence in the process. But after the chaos of the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars, France returned to Haiti in 1825 to revive its claims over their former colony. Under the threat of blockade and potentially even invasion, Haiti was forced into handing over an enormous amount of money in exchange for diplomatic recognition. So as the argument goes, this debt effectively doomed Haiti from ever being able to develop, trapping the country in a cycle of poverty and political unrest that continues to this day. But just because this argument is popular and even considered taboo to criticize, doesn't make it true. And while it's correct to point out that the island nation was unjustly bullied into handing over billions of dollars to the French crown, it's not like Haiti was the first or only nation in history to be saddled with enormous and unreasonable debts imposed on them by a foreign power. In fact, France itself had to pay the equivalent of more than $110 billion in reparations to Germany after losing the Franco-Prussian War in 1871. And after losing World War I, Germany had to pay a staggering $610 billion in reparations when adjusted for inflation and the price of gold. Now, like Haiti's debt, these reparations were intentionally designed to economically cripple France and Germany, but neither France or Germany can really be considered a failed state today. So what do both of these explanations for Haiti's collapse have in common? And why are they so popular despite having glaring holes in each of them? Well, both of these narratives remove all responsibility from the country's political leaders and instead assign responsibility for Haiti's collapse on countries like France. Okay, but could it be that this line of reasoning actually helps explain why Haiti is such a disaster in the first place? I mean, it may feel good for academics and activists to look at a struggling people and find a bully to blame for all of their problems. But that doesn't make it true, and more importantly, by removing all responsibility from the Haitians, you also remove their agency. Now, we shouldn't ignore obvious historical problems and injustices, but we also need to acknowledge that overemphasis on these realities creates a mindset that paints the Haitians as completely helpless bystanders in their own nation's failure. The reality is that we have plenty of historical examples of people in similar circumstances as the Haitians being able to overcome those circumstances and turn their nations into successful societies. And when a people needs to look no further than their own neighbors on the same island with a similar history, perhaps it's time to question the motivation of those constantly trying to convince Haitians that they are helpless victims instead of people with the ability to take control of their own future.